Hello everyone, welcome back to Old Dad's Modeling Mess. In today's video, we are going to finish off the T-35 Soviet land battleship. I still really like this kit, I really do. Even with all the issues and stuff that I've had with it, I really like this kit. And I am going to get another one. Hopefully it'll be in better shape, but I'm going to get another one because I've just got so many ideas. So many ideas now after building this one. I'm also going to try something new with this. I want this to look like it rained a few hours ago, something like that. I want to give it that wet look, but I don't want the whole thing just nothing but a big glossy blob. So I'm going to use some of my clear 3D resin, and I'm going to use that to create little puddles of water, so to speak. Like if you have a car or something like that, you'll get those little puddles of water all over it and stuff like that. I'm going to try that, or I did try that. It worked somewhat, but, well, I shouldn't say somewhat. It worked, but it's not exactly what I was trying to get. Maybe if I were to use, or maybe if I sprayed a little bit of some satin varnish around the puddles, it would look better, give it more of a lifelike look, where it's slowly drying up. But I don't think it came out horribly bad either. I mean, you'll see at the end, you'll see what I'm talking about. It looks okay. It really does. But all I can say is, after battling with them turrets, I was so happy to get to this stage. Once you get to this stage, it's game over. You're almost done. And I was chomping at the bit. I wanted to get this one done. I wanted to try this new rain thing out, these little water puddles. Yeah. You know how it is when you're in the middle of a build and something just clicks and you're like, oh man, I gotta try that. Yep, I was. It kicked me in my ass and it's like, get over being mad. You're done with those. Get going. So that's what I did. I went ahead and, as you see, I glued all the tools and stuff on there. Got them all set up. The one thing I wasn't expecting, though, was after I got the tools on, there was a lot of empty space on them fenders. And it was big. As you can see there, back there by that rear fan cover, that whole thing didn't have nothing on it. So in those empty spots, I just decided, you know what, I'm just going to throw some extra tracks on there. I mean, why not? Trust me, there was plenty left over out of the kit. So that's what I did. I was like, yep, And of course, me being me, I had to put my my prints all over this kit, as you'll see, because my thumb's stuck on it now, and I left a nice thumbprint in it. So yay. I guess if I ever do anything bad, you guys can use that as a way to fingerprint me, right? Oh well. But yeah, no, it really started going together, and it you know how it is. Once you have some issues and then you start going and then things just start falling in place, that happiness returns and you're like, yeah, let's get going. That's what happened with me. As you see here in a second, I glued the muffler on, and I do run into a little bit of an issue right here. When I glued it on, I accidentally glued the hinges to my fan cover, so I had to remove it. I was hoping that I could just pop it off and they would work, but nope. I had to run the knife in there just to break that glue up. I was like, man, no, come on, get this fixed. But eventually, yeah, it worked out. I was able to open it up. I really like this idea, and on my next one, I'm going to try to make better hinges. Maybe I'll go into Blender or something, and I'll make really nice ones that I can just 3D print and be done with. Because those there, I just made them out of styrene. I cut them out, and then the piece that's on the hatch itself, the little tan parts, those are off of my Stug 4. Those are leftovers. I almost have enough parts that if I had another hull, I bet you I could probably put another Stug 4 together. It had so many extra parts with it. But yeah, those are the little things where you put the tow hooks at on the Stug 4. So since I had extras, I just used those. They already had holes in them. May as well, right? I mean, they worked. A little ugly, but whatever. But I just kept going after this. It was that time. Here it comes, the fun times. Yes, I added some new tunes to the library. Hope you like. But I was vibing so good with this, how it went and everything, that I hurried up and off camera, I primed it. I just used what was it? I think it was the just a Vallejo black primer, just regular black primer, and then I I painted it green. But you guys can't tell anybody. This is just a little secret. But I just used USOD green, and I just lightened it up a little bit with some white, and I really think it looks good. Uh, I mean, I didn't want it to look just like the Sherman. I didn't want it to look exact. I didn't. I wanted the green to be just a little bit different from the other greens of the other tanks. So I figured with it being older, maybe it'd be just a little bit lighter. So I think it came out pretty good. And I mean, really, once you get your base coat on there, it that's when the it's time to start getting busy and stuff like that, because that's where you start your chipping and your weathering and all of that. And that's exactly what I did. I went ahead and I painted the tools, and then it was chipping time. It's time to get going, start getting them chips, so I could start doing the rust effects and stuff like that. And that's what I did. I put on a little bit more music, and I got busy. Okay, now that all that's done, comes the scary part because I've never done this before, and yeah, I could be ruining a perfectly good model. I don't think so, but at the time I didn't know if this was going to work out or how well it was going to work out. We'll just put it that way. But yes, this was a little bit, let's just say, spooky-ish for me. I didn't think that there'd be an issue like with the resin or anything like that eating through the plastic because uh, I've you can super glue them on there, and I've done it before, and I've seen other builders where they'll take like a 3D resin printed part, and they'll actually just take a little bit of the resin, put it on the part, they'll stick it on there, and then they'll use the UV light to cure it. So it's just like super glue. So I wasn't worried about that. It was just I didn't know how it would work. So I just went slow, and as you can see, I'm using, I think I go through 2 lights because the batteries went dead in one. But I had my UV lights there, and I was just cautious and cautious. And yeah, I didn't want to mess anything up. So I popped on a little bit of music and got busy, heading off into the unknown. I can't lie. So far, this had been working out really, really, really good. The more that I did, the better off I felt about it. Uh, you know, I was really able to relax a lot more this way here. I could just enjoy what I was doing and reap the rewards afterwards. Uh, I won't lie though, I did have that little battle. You know how it is. The hurry up and let's get done. I wanna I wanna see this. I wanna play with it. I gotta. You know, yeah. We've all had those thoughts, I'm sure, but I took my time, and I'm actually glad I did because, uh, as you see here, I'm going down and in between the the side armor there, and I hadn't thought about that until I was going here. Is this where the? Yep, that's where it died. Time to grab the other light. But yeah, I was like, oh, hold on, you know what? I need to get up around here because water's going to come down the little edges here. You know, it's going to be puddled up there because that's where it's all going to run and drain down at and stuff. So taking my time actually allowed me to do more and better at it, I believe. So uh, yeah, it was good. As I said at the beginning, before we get to the money shots and everything like that, or the whatever you want to call it, the final pictures. Uh, I think maybe if I was to take take my airbrush with some satin varnish and just kind of outline the edge of all the puddles, go really, really light, uh, because it looks just the way it does now is I'm painting this stuff on here. It's nice and it's shiny and it looks wet, but it's just right there. So I kind of want to give a little bit of the metal around it that damp but not wet look, but I don't want it to be dry either. So I don't know if that would work or not. But you know, I don't know how that would work around the puddles that are up on the top. You know what I'm saying? It's just one of those weird things. I think it came out really good, and using this 3D resin here worked out really good because I didn't have to wait. I hit it with that UV light and it cures it instantly. So yeah, it might seem weird because, oh, you can just use varnish for this. Well, yeah, but then you got to let it dry. This, paint it on there, hit it with the light, it's cured, it's dry, you can touch it, it's done. It's that fast. Uh, so yeah, it's this way here, doing it this way, I think is going to work out really good later on other builds. So this was a good learning experience for me. But I really think that, and I'm not in no big rush, but I think I will try at some point. I will try to do the satin varnish around it a little bit just to see if it gives it that almost wet look, or it's almost dry look, however you want to look at it. But yeah, because once I get another one of these, I'm definitely going to be doing something similar to this, but maybe not quite so uh, green. Maybe I'll do it in a camouflage or something like that, a camo pattern. Because I really do. I love this tank, and I can't wait to get another one. I really can't. This is definitely definitely going to get bought again. That's for sure. As always, everyone, thank you for watching my videos. And then if you enjoy this type of content, please drop a like, a comment. If you're not already, consider subscribing. That helps me out. That tells YouTube you like watching my videos. And it gives me an excuse to buy more models. We do have a Discord. Check the link down in the description box. And as always, until the next video, I will see you guys later. Enjoy the money shots. See ya. Bye.